get yourself to Belgium first. If you're new here, my name is Bola Harrison. Kindly stay, keep watching, enjoy. I really hope that you do. And don't forget, please guys, give this video a thumbs up. Leave your comments, your questions in the comment section. I will reply them as soon as I can. And you're absolutely free and welcome to join my YouTube channel. Alright guys, don't forget, turn on the notification bell so that whenever I put up a new video, you'll be the first person to know. That being said, oh my god, it feels like I've not done that in ages. That being said, in today's video, I'll be talking about how to stay back in Belgium as an international student, what to do to stay back, how to process your stay back options, what are the opportunities that are open for you as an international student who is wrapping up their program or who just came to Belgium. All of these questions, oh my god, when I just moved to Belgium, there were questions that I was literally asking everyone I saw. I mean, anyone who's been in Belgium before I moved in, I was asking everyone and anyone because I didn't plan to go home, and I know neither do you. So let's dive right into it. So first thing first, just like every other Western country, Belgium offers students the opportunity to stay back in Belgium to find employment or start a business, and this falls under what is known search year visa or orientation year visa, which lasts for 12 months. So if you've lived in Belgium, you know that the Belgian type A card expires on the 31st of October every year. It's for 12 months, but it runs from November to October of the next year. So if you've come to Belgium, say in September, your card will expire in October. You renew again and get another card from then to the next October. So you want to apply for search here, or you want to renew your stay as a student in Belgium. Everything you did when you moved to Belgium is what you're still going to do again. So all the insurance, proof of fund, be it using a sponsor that's Annex 32 or block account or scholarship, everything you're still going to do again. But of course, for orientation here, there's no scholarship because you're saying that you finished studying and you want to find employment or start a business. Starting a business, finding employment falls under that 12-month visa. How do you go about applying for the search year visa? So if you've completed your program in June or you had receipts in August and you've completed all of that, you have to make sure that you book an appointment at your city hall, at your commune city hall, just before the current permit expires. So the permit expires 31st of August. You want to make sure that you've booked an appointment to go submit your file for search year visa or renewal just before the 31st strikes 000, which is just before it moves to 1st of November. So even if you are not able to get a date, because some community might not get dates if you apply so late, you might get dates in November. It doesn't matter. At least I'm speaking from experience. It doesn't matter. Your interview or your appointment could be 1st of November, 5th of November, but you want to make sure you have booked the appointment to go submit those documents on or before 31st of October. So say you couldn't get a slot or you submitted a document, some things were missing, you'll be given time. Sometimes you're given a week, sometimes I think 2 weeks. How long was I given? I think I was given about 3 weeks to go bring the remaining documents for mine. So what I did was I secured another appointment on the 30th of October. But some people are not so lucky because you might not get date. You might get date 5th of November. It doesn't matter. You have to have booked the appointment in that same October before that card runs out. So that's the thing about the resident card booking of appointment as well. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to secure your proof of fund. For search year visa, now you're telling them that you finished studying, so of course there's no scholarship anymore. So your proof of fund is now either the chances of a block account or Annex 32, that's present charge. That's the guarantor. Someone saying that they will stand for you for the 1 year. It's like the same thing you filled when you were coming if you used a guarantor. Same rule applies to the guarantor. Must be earning at least 2,800 above after tax. 2,800 and above after tax, depending on their family structure, depending on how many people are in the family, including you that they are sponsoring. So the same rule also applies. Your guarantor, easily for me, I do say that the guarantor should be an European citizen, particularly if you can get someone from Belgium or a Belgian resident, a person who resides in Belgium or owns the Belgium permanent resident card or passport. Those people can stand for you, and it's easier when it's a Belgian. But you can get someone from the European Union, is also easy, or someone from Canada or US is also easy. The trick is that they must be earning 2,800 and above, else you would have issues with submitting that document and having it accepted. So something was introduced last year. Previously, if you were applying for renewal, you didn't need it, but now they started asking for standard formula. Standard formula from the school you went to, the certificate of the school you went to, your standard formula, which you can print or which will be sent to you via email. In my case, it was sent via email for my school. For some schools, you have to request because it was pretty new and not all schools knew that you needed that for renewal, either for search year or for renewing for studies purpose. Because I renewed for studies purpose, I didn't renew for search year. I had to get standard formula from my previous university and my current university. So that together was why I submitted. So you need a standard formula paper. It's like a certificate carrying all of your details, your date of birth, what you're studying or what you studied, how many ECT you passed and stuff like that. So again, you would also need your international passport and your current Belgian residence permit. Your international passport must still also have, your passport data page intact, and it doesn't matter if you have less than 6 months or above. You just need it as a means of identification. Same with your residence card. Now, at some point when your documents are accepted and collected, you would need to give back that residence card, and they will let you know when the new one will be given to you. Again, just like when you moved to Belgium and you were given Annex 12, I've forgotten if it's Annex 15, the temporary paper that allows you to stay in Belgium. You cannot travel out of Belgium during that period because that paper is not a resident card. It's just something that allows you to stay in Belgium. You also give that to your employers for them to allow you to continue working until your new card is out. Now, for search year visa, the reason why a lot of people in Belgium do not really dive right into search year visa was because search year visa was really recently introduced. It's still pretty new in Belgium. It's not up to like 5 to 7 years in Belgium. But people don't really dive into it, or people won't tell you much about it because some people don't even know that search year visa is a thing in Belgium. Especially those older students who've been here for years, they know about it, but they won't advise you. When you move newly to Belgium, you will get 3 kinds of advice. Don't finish your program advice so that you have a longer stay. Especially if you're doing a 1-year program, the first advice is don't finish your program advice, just so that you can extend it by not completing your exams, so to say. I won't go into so much details. Second option or second advice you will get is finish your program, find another program. I know some students came into Belgium with programs that were not really so marketable, but just to allow them to live. So the option would be find another marketable program that can do something for you in Europe. And that's the option that I always prefer to give than saying fail, repeat, just to extend your stay. If you don't mind, you can do that, because for me, I'd rather get 2 degrees in 2 years than 1 degree in 3 years or 1 year or 2 years. And I was on a scholarship, so failing was not an option. I'd rather finish, even though I didn't finish the way I wanted or the way I would think. I would rather finish and start another one, which was exactly what I did. So what I did in my case was apply for another program, which I didn't say this because while I was going to Czech Republic between last year for my second semester examinations and program, I was also running another master's program in Belgium at the same time and also working. I didn't go into details because it was a very rough period where I was juggling. I did make some videos on the vlog on Czech Republic to Belgium, but nothing about the master's program. Because for me, that period, I was trying to make a lot of decisions, settle my head. Why am I doing this program? Okay, if I do this program because I want to stay longer in Belgium, what options are available for me? This now brings me to the part about employment in Belgium. You want to do a course that's marketable in Belgium if you plan to stay in Belgium for the long run or in the long run, or something that you can use to move from Belgium to another European country if that's your dream. So the employment market in Belgium favors those who can speak the language, French, especially if you plan to move to Brussels or Wallonia, and Dutch if you plan to stay in Flanders. Or sometimes they will even ask you if you are multilingual, which means if you speak Dutch, French, and English. Sometimes other languages are there, but imagine as a non-Dutch speaker, non-French speaker, you're in Belgium and competing among other European students and other foreign students who can speak at least 2 to 3 languages. So it's not like there are no opportunities in Belgium for international students, hence why students are taking the longer option of staying back to study another program rather than apply for the search year. It's because if you're studying a 1 year or a 2 year program, sometimes it doesn't give you enough time to fully integrate, to learn the language, and to find a job in your field, because sometimes the job might be tilting towards tech, data courses, agriculture, or you might just not be finding something in your field in 2 years. So let's say you finish your program, or before finishing your program you're already checking for a job. Sometimes you're applying for jobs and not even getting feedback. So the search year, which is for 12 months, is kind of short. It does sound like a long time because you hear 12 months, 1 year, but 1 year is a short period to find a job. It works for some others, but it doesn't work for other people. So you have three options. You want to get a search year, which is typically what you should do, like in the normal sense of it, because some people don't even like to study for long. So if that's your option, yeah, and you're sure of what you've studied, you're sure that you've gotten a job, probably before the end of your current resident permit as a student, you're sure that you've done interviews and it's tilting towards the positive side, you want to get a search year and then convert that to a work visa. If you're sure that you've not seen something, my advice would be quickly, you hear me use the word quickly, make arrangements to start another program in Belgium. If, for instance, you decide to re-enroll in another program in Belgium, you are not bounded, or it is not the same deadline that applies for foreign students outside Belgium that applies to you. The deadline that applies to you will be the deadline for EEA students who are already in Belgium. So you are categorized as a student who have finished from a Belgian university. Your deadline is the same time. So the deadline is typically around, I think, July, August, I think. I can't remember all of those details, but it's longer because the deadline for foreign students outside Belgium is between February and March, but your deadline is around July, August. So you want to find out before you make a decision, and you want to apply on time, make your decision on time. For me, what I did in the 6 months for the first semester of my new program was to decide where to go from there. Do you want to do the program? Is this program going to be something that will interest you and get you a job in Belgium? Not the first program which you did to come. Even if the one you did was still important, that still counts. It means you want to do something. So don't just stay back. And if you think that you need extra time for your thesis, especially if you are doing a 1 year program, by all means extend your program by that 1 year needed to do your thesis, and then graduate and get search here, which gives you 2 years for a program instead of 1 year. Because to be honest, the 1 year is pretty short. It's short to think of your coursework, work as a foreign student to secure your bills and pay your bills, and then start thinking of search here. It's a very short time. But if your program is 3 years, it's giving you enough time to think, integrate, and know what the job market for your course looks like. So the good thing for those that are doing bachelors is, after your 3 years program, what you can do is not rush to take the search here. It's to enroll for a master's program. Typically, I would advise a 2 years master's program. That already gives you 5 years. But your 5 years is not 5 years in Europe, especially in Belgium. I don't know of all European countries, but like most European countries, the 5 years as an international student in Belgium is not 5 years. It's slashed into half. So that's already giving you some time to think if you want to stay back and build a life for yourself, if you want to move, if you want to get a job, if you want to get married, and if you want to get partnership with any other European person. Anyway, you want to secure your stay. But the opportunities are limitless. I've seen people get jobs, but it depends on the course that you do. I've seen people go into the study again route, which is what I did, and before deciding where to go from there. And I've seen people finish their masters and start a PhD. Now, another thing that most people do not know, or most people will not tell you, or most people will confuse you about is, you're already on a search visa and you could not find a job. What do you do? Like, what do you do after you've collected a search year visa, which lasts for 12 months? You can't find a job and you've not been able to secure the professional card to start a business. And also, probably you were working as a trainee, but you could not switch the card to a professional card. That's your resident permit card to a professional card. What do you do? I've seen a lot of people do this, like 2-3 people. You can't switch your resident permit card as a search year student back to being a student, but you have to calculate and do this in time just to switch that card. One thing that I have seen gets people confused about the search year visa is this: older people who've lived in Belgium longer would advise new migrants, or will tell new migrant that Once you get the search here and you don't find a job, you have to leave Belgium. Why that is true to a large or a considerable extent, it's not a total fact. Actually, when you get the search here visa and you cannot find a job in that 1 year, there's a way you can go around it to going back to becoming a student. Now, for those who have studied in Belgium, your deadline to apply or re-enroll for any other program in your school or in a university in Belgium is July. So what I have seen a colleague and a friend do was to get an admission before that July, immediately after we finished our program, apply for another program before the deadline for EEA students and those who studied in Belgium, and then get the search here visa when the current one expired, and in the process find a job. If you cannot find a job in the first 3 to 6 months, you already know what your chances are looking like out of 12 months. You can then go back to use the admission you had secured before the deadline to switch to being a student. You have to pay and re-enroll to study again, to change that search here back to being a student, because you already have an admission letter with you. So you've already enrolled, you've gotten your standard formula, you've paid any acceptance fee you need to pay. If necessary, by then you have to pay it, and that's it. So I've seen people switch to search here and search here back to being a student. Now some people will tell you that's not possible. I've seen it happen. So I've seen it happen. You switch to search here back to being a student if you can find something. But while that might be an option, it can be really tricky because you have to be more calculative. You have to be forward thinking. You must have thought about it. Weigh all your options. Weigh all your options. If you don't weigh your options, you would make mistake, and if you don't time it very well, you could lose out on both. So these are the options to stay back in Belgium. Find a job through the search here visa, start a business, which typically I've not seen so many international students do, because I mean you've been here for 1 to 3 years, especially for those who are here for 1 to 2 years program. Start a business under the search here visa, re-enroll in another program and be still study, especially if your program is 1 to 2 years. Trust me, 1 year is a very short time to then dive into another 1 year searching for work when you've not even learned the language or integrate properly. Another option is to extend your stay by extending your thesis, extending your coursework. Don't ask me questions about that. These are what's available. There are jobs in Belgium, but language barrier is a big deal. 1. 2 is it has to be a role that is marketable. If the language would not impact your chances, it has to be a role that they really need people, like tech, like agriculture, like anything, medicine. I've seen people study medicine in Belgium and leave. So the chances are also high because the medical team here in Belgium, or medicine jobs, sometimes are more language structured and they favor those who speak Dutch or French or even both. So these are all the chances, these are the opportunities. Staying back, and I've seen people leave to Canada, leave to the US, go for PhD in Belgium. So that's what I'm saying. Re-enroll, extend your studies, apply for search here. Anything you choose to do, the options are limitless. The first thing I always say is get yourself to Belgium first. Don't let the 12-month stay, post-study, whatever, kill your motivation. Come in first. When you get here, you figure everything out. I was like you once. I was so worried about what's going to be that I was not paying so much attention to my academics because I was worried. What does the future hold for me as an international student? Do I want to go back home? That was not an option. So anyways, these are all of the information that I have. If I can answer your questions in the comment section, if I can answer them on the social media space, I will try to do that. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.